Unaona kama hii ni kanisa, unaona msalaba hapa,
utakaa nje na tunafanya kesi bila.
Ndio mama, mwambie tena, mwambie.
Na wewe kanyamaza pia.
Wewe ndio huo unachukua takataka kwa mimi.
Usijichanganye ndugu yangu.
Ile harufu alikuwa anapiga sisi. Ilikuwa mbaya.
Kuna nyumba yako tulimwaga takataka hapo.
Si umeuliza kama mimi anasema?
Sema hapana. Yes, very good.
Wewe ndio Alphonse Makata.
Hapa kitambulisho yangu.
Si hata mimi kwa
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
It is indeed exactly 1 p.m. East African time. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to KBC Lunchtime News. Plenty to digest, including the latest from the plane crash that was earlier on in Kwale County earlier this morning. We also expect a statement from the Minister or the CS for Transport, Davis Chirchir. My name is Njue. Lucy Maura is my colleague on the bottom right of your screen handling the sign language interpretation. We begin in Kwale, where a plane with 12 people on board has crashed at Thimba area, Kwale County, shortly after takeoff. In a statement, the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority confirmed that the plane registered as FY-CCA was en route from Diani in Kwale County to Kichwa Tembo in the Masai Mara before crashing at 5:30 on Tuesday. Images from the scene show debris from the plane and fire and scattered across the crash site. With the cause of the crash still unknown, government and investigations agencies are already on site to establish the cause of the accident and assess its impact. And we are keeping our eyes and lens peeled for more details from that crash, including who were in that plane and, of course, what caused that plane crash. Elsewhere, Garissa Governor Nathif Jama has raised alarm over the worsening drought situation in the county, urging urgent and coordinated action from all stakeholders to avert a humanitarian crisis. Jama says failed rains for 4 consecutive seasons have left over 33,000 households facing starvation and severe water shortages. He warned that the situation is dire, with livestock and livelihoods at risk, and called on the national government and partners to scale up drought response efforts. The county is currently tracking water to more than 200 settlements as officials work to strengthen coordination and maintain boreholes.
The county government and national government departments within the county, but also call on the national government at large and also on all our partners and friends, donors to come on board and help us in this situation.
We are working very closely with NDMA, using the normal procedures to see to it that the support we require is actually brought on board, so that the livelihoods of our people are maintained. We are also considering a commercial offtake and that we are working with NDMA so that the Kenya Meat Commission can be engaged to start the process of commercial offtake.
To the one graft where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has recovered a 7.11 hectare piece of land that had been grabbed and illegally seized by a prominent individual. EACC CEO Abdi Mahamud was on site visit at Karura Forest, which forms part of the land, and addressed the press. Let's listen in.
Years, and yesterday, on 23rd of October this year, we've won this particular case, and this parcel of the two parcels of land, which was later amalgamated into one, was recovered back to the public. Maybe just to give you an overview, the parcel of land behind us, which is fenced, belongs to the Kenya Technical Teachers Training College. It is less than 1 acre, and that it was the first parcel of land that was actually allocated to a former cabinet minister who was called J.J. Kamodo. That was way back in the early 90s. So later, this parcel which is behind you now, which actually is part of Karura Forest, which now measures about 16 acres, was also allocated to the same individual illegally and or irregularly and illegally. So when that information came to the commission, then the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, not the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, we filed in recovery suit in 2007. And we've been in court since then. And it is only on 23rd of October that we were able to win this particular case. And as you were informed by the lawyer who was on record for this particular case, the two parcels are estimated to be about 2.8 billion worth Kenya shillings. Section belonging to the college, and the section behind us, behind you people there, belonging to Karura Forest. So when the minister was allocated that parcel of land, he sold it to a private individual, a company called Gigiri Court Limited. The intention of that particular individual or other company was to set up residential houses in this part of the land. This is part of the college and also part of the Karura Forest. By our action, that individual was not able to construct those buildings that he intended to construct. So we want to reassure the public that not only forest, but all public land that is grabbed or illegally allocated to individuals will be recovered back. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Like this one has taken 18 years, but we will eventually recover it back and hand it over to the public. Now, that certificate of lease, which was issued to the Gigiri Court Limited, was cancelled by the court. New lease or title will be issued to the two institutions, this part to the college and the remaining part to Karura Forest. As we were informed, the importance of forest conservation cannot be overemphasized or stated. This particular forest, as we all know, is threatened and by individuals because of its proximity to Nairobi, because it's part of Nairobi. Now you can imagine if one individual had put up residential houses along.
Away from matters graft, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has expressed deep concern over the rising number of mothers dying while giving birth, linking the deaths to medical negligence in hospitals. Speaking in Nairobi during a launch of Kenya's Quality of Care Health Facility Assessment Reports and the Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child and Adolescent Health and Nutrition Investment Case, Duale issued a stern warning to health workers and county leaders who perpetrate negligence, citing recent investigations by the Ministry of Health, which found that one county alone, 18 mothers died within 3 months, most of them due to negligence by healthcare workers. Duale vowed to have the licenses of those found guilty revoked.
Continue to die while giving life. That, let me repeat it. Mothers go to our facilities when they're very healthy, and they are going there to give life. Those mothers cannot and will not. It is immoral, it's unconstitutional, it's inhuman if we allow them to continue to die while they're giving life.
There are clear gaps that are glaring at us as a country. Some facilities still face stockouts, equipment downtime, and even adherence to clinical protocols.
This report is a report of the entire health sector, not a public sector report.
Still on health, the Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union is calling for the urgent employment of additional public health officers in Laikipia County. Speaking during the inaugural elections for the union, the National Secretary General Brown Achira stated that focusing on preventive health care would free counties from diseases that drain financial resources. The union also emphasized the need to convert contracted staff to permanent employment and to establish a regular replacement system for officers who retire or pass away.
We have those who have retired, those who have died because of either natural attrition or or found greener pastures. Those slots are there, the money is there, and replacement is easily done because the resources is already there. We may have few human resource, and then they are not funded to do the task. So it means the services rendered are inequality. We don't have quality services. So we would ask the government, the county government of Laikipia, through the able governor and the CEC and the directors, that we may give them a chance to do what we are supposed to do through the funding and more manpower to be increased.
Solidarity forever, solidarity forever.
And for our next story, we cross over to the sandy beaches of Malindi, where the Uganda-Kenya Tourism Conference is currently underway. And my colleague Abdiaziz Hashim is currently keeping tabs with what is happening. Let's cross over to Malindi.
Well, thank you so much and good afternoon to you too, indeed, Bentro Njue. Today marks the last day of the 4th edition of the Kenya-Uganda Tourism Conference that was happening here in Malindi and Kilifi County for the last 24 hours or so, I should say 48 hours or so. It kick-started yesterday with the Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano, as well as the Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, as well as the Ambassador who is heading the Consulate in Mombasa County, that is Ambassador Paul Mukuyambia, who has been talking about how to promote tourism within the two countries and also promote regional tourism within the East African region, which is very key because they're saying if that is promoted, it will ensure the over-reliance on international tourists who are coming into both countries when they are the numbers are going down, they'll be able to benefit from the locals within these two countries. And also promoting this particular sector in both nations is very vital to the country's gross domestic product. Also yesterday they gave us the projections of how the sector will be growing, especially following how it suffered under the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2020, 2021, which the sector greatly suffered. They're saying now the sector is slowly picking up and they will be benefiting from this particular promotion, given that they're putting at a 5% growth on a yearly basis of both nations. And right now, to speak to some of the key delegates who are participating in this particular conference, today will mark the last day. Remember, this is a conference that is happening. This is the fourth one. It started in Mombasa, went to Diani, went to Kampala, and now it is back in Malindi. Want to hear from the resolutions that have been able to make once this particular conference concludes later this afternoon. Thank you, sir. If you can just kindly stand there, and thank you for joining us on KBC Channel 1. Maybe start by introducing yourself and tell us what will be your key takeaway from this particular conference. I'll hold it for you.
All right. Thank you very much. My name's Eddie Kiria, all the way from Uganda. I'm a tour operator in Uganda, managing director at Ayalama Adventures. Now, we came here to participate in the 4th edition of the Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference and Farm Trip. And my biggest takeaway has been the product knowledge that I've gotten about the Kenya Coast. We've inspected a number of hotels, right from Kilifi to Vipingo to Watamu and Malindi. So right now, I'm ready, well equipped, with enough knowledge, with enough packages that I'm going to be able to sell to the Ugandans and encourage them to come and visit the Kenya coast, specifically Kilifi County, because many Ugandans have been mostly going to Diani, going to Mombasa, but they hadn't yet explored Kilifi as a county. So right now, we are already armed to the teeth to be able to push and promote and bring more Ugandans to visit Kilifi County at the Kenya coast.
Thank you so much, Eddie. And of course, we wish you all the best, given that one of the key issues that was clearly discussed or canvassed here is about having a standard rate for the East African region to allow many people to be able to access and afford these particular ventures within Uganda. You know, Uganda offers a lot when it comes to apes, chimpanzees, which most of us as Kenyans do not have here, but we get the opportunity to visit that in Uganda. Also, let me get an opportunity to speak to this beautiful lady. If you could stand here. Thank you so much. Maybe you start by introducing yourself. Millions of Kenyans are watching you right now. Tell us, what do you do and what will be your key takeaway, given that today is the last day of this conference?
Okay, my name is Lucy Bunyenyezi Mulira. I'm a travel creator based in Uganda. It's my first time attending this conference, which I think has just been absolutely fantastic. In the sense of bringing the two countries together to sort of like bridge tourism, creating circuits, a lot of the things they've spoken about today. How do we create circuits where we promote what is uniquely ours? So we might not have these beaches, but you also might not have the primates that we have in Uganda. And so, you know, listening even through sports, how do we merge the golfers community to come and actually do tournaments, not just here, let it start maybe in Kenya, end up in Uganda, vice versa, but equally promoting what is uniquely ours. And so I think it's been very beneficial, not just for me as a travel creator, but also for tour operators, for lodge owners, anyone that's interested in the hospitality space. A conference like this is definitely going to be very impactful with sort of like bringing these two countries together, not to compete, but to sort of complement each other. So, yeah.
And maybe finally, before I let you go, also we have heard the beautiful things that are in Uganda. Maybe as you're talking to Kenyans, what will be that beautiful site, or which city would you like Kenyans to visit?
Oh my gosh, I'm so biased, of course. But I think for sure Bwindi, where the gorillas are, the mountain gorillas, that is one of the most breathtaking locations in Uganda. Not just the landscape, but also coming close to these gentle giants. We're honestly hoping that through conservation and all these, we're able to maintain safeguarding, supporting communities, and Bwindi is a prime example of how they've managed to successfully do that. So if you're ever in Uganda, don't just stop in Kampala for our amazing nightlife, but definitely get up to Bwindi and experience just how beautiful it is.
Thank you so much, Lucien. Thank you for making time for us. And of course, given that we are running out of time, those are just a bunch of delegates who have come here, over 500 of them, to participate in this particular conference that is concluding today. And of course, this marks the official day of the 4th edition of the Kenya-Uganda Tourism Conference that was happening here in Malindi, Kilifi County. Troy will inform you in our subsequent bulletins, but back to in studio now.
Thank you, Abdiaziz Hashim there, enjoying the sandy beaches of Malindi in the Kenya-Uganda Tourism Conference there, and engaging some of the stakeholders, especially from Uganda. A lot that Kenya and Uganda can benefit from each other when it comes to tourism, and especially Kenya having one of the best beaches and coastline, and Uganda having some things that we do not have, including some of the gorillas that we have seen in the East African region and in the world as well. More on that in our subsequent bulletin. Elsewhere, Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok has assured Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA and Kenya Junior School Education Assessment KJSEA candidates countrywide of an above-board exercise. Bitok noted that the exams were running smoothly and all stakeholders were on high alert to address any challenges to ensure a credible examination process. He said the ministry is working with security agents to deal with any exam cheating attempts.
I want to thank all our stakeholders, including center managers, invigilators, for the smooth delivery of day 1 examinations yesterday. Today is day 2 for KPSEA, KJSEA, and we are confident that the process will go smoothly. And we have asked our stakeholders, our sub-county directors, our county directors, to ensure that they do their best to ensure that we deliver a credible exam.
Still on education matters, public secondary school teachers in Kilifi County have joined the call for autonomy of junior secondary schools, saying it is long overdue. Speaking to journalists in Kilifi, the teachers urged Kenyans to pile pressure on the state to grant the institutions their wish for smooth management of learning in junior secondary. The teachers allege that constant conflict between the primary school and the junior secondary schools could disrupt the education of students.
Tunachotaka sisi si kuhama, tunachotaka sisi, tunataka watu ambao watatuangazia sisi kama walimu. Hii shule iwe independent kama vile ECD ziko independent.
Masuala ya junior school autonomy ni masuala ambayo serikali yetu ya kitaifa na Teacher Service Commission wanafaa kuangalia vizuri sana kwa makini. These young professionals are out to save the souls of an entire generation. Kwa hivyo mwasaidie kwa kuwapa the autonomy. Wapeni masikio, mwasikilize ili tuweze kuchukua hatua za kimsingi zitakazosaidia masomo hapa junior school.
Hatuwezi kuendelea kuishi katika sera za kitambo kwa kuwa watu wako na tajriba. Sasa hivi tumeleta sera zingine geni ambazo zinaweza kutujenga na kutuendeleza. Kwa hivyo watu wote katika nchi yetu ya Kenya tunawasihi na tunawarai msimame nyuma ya walimu wa junior school wakiomba kuwe na autonomy ili elimu ya watoto wetu iweze kuwa ya manufaa.
Elsewhere, the government has stepped up preparations for the transition of students to grade 10 with particular focus on training of trainers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM on senior school curriculum guidelines in preparation for next year's first cohort of grade 10 learners. The 4-day program, conducted by facilitators from the Center for Mathematics, Science and Technology Education in Africa, aims to equip the trainers with knowledge and skills about the new competency-based education to enhance the capacity of curriculum support officials and school principals to handle the transition successfully for effective implementation.
The reason for this training is because the CBE is transiting to senior school next year, that is 2026. And I know it is government priority at this time that the teachers are well prepared to be able to receive the students and to be able to implement the curriculum effectively. So this is why Semastea has organized this training. Currently, we are training our county trainers who are key trainers. The county trainers will be able to cascade or implement this training for all heads of departments in our schools.
When you look at the two, the 844 system was majorly on examination, but when you look at this one, the current curriculum, which is the CBE, it is about the competency.
In other news, the Meru Bar Association has expressed dissatisfaction with the performances of the Maua law courts in Meru County, citing backlog of cases, negligence, lack of ethics and absenteeism by some of the court's officers. The association is now calling on the judiciary to take immediate steps to replace all Maua court officers and restore the efficiency of service delivery. According to lawyers, despite the association submitting a letter to the Chief Justice on July the 1st, 2025, requesting action, no change has been made and the situation has continued to deteriorate.
Absentee leadership and repeated ethical controversies. Leadership gaps have persisted, notably Court 1, who is the head of the station, and Court 2, who should be a senior principal magistrate, while Court 3, Court 4 and Court 5 have been marred by disciplinary and integrity concerns.
Time for change has come in Maua. We want to have matters moving. There is a serious backlog in Maua and it's time for people to get serious. We are ready to work as advocates, only that the judicial officers who are serving us are frustrating efforts for us to work well.
It's unfortunate that a few months ago these concerns were raised. The leadership did convey the grievances.
Moving on, renowned legal scholar and governance expert Professor PLO Lumumba has raised alarm over the rising cases of tribal rhetoric and political polarization of the country, warning that the country risks slipping into dangerous ethnic divisions if the trend is not urgently contained. Speaking during the 3rd African Youth Leadership Forum at Mount Kenya University, Lumumba observed that the tribal discourse, coupled with the heightened political temperatures despite being 2 years away from the next general election, plants a grim picture of a nation trapped in toxic identity politics.
We live in a country today where when a cabinet is constituted, people ask how many from our tribe. When judges are appointed, people ask how many from our tribe. When doctors are appointed and lawyers, we ask how many have graduated from our tribe. Merit is sacrificed.
And that report takes us to the fast break that we have here. At about 27 minutes past the top of the hour, we are due in the next couple of minutes with more news, including business and also sports. Stay tuned.
Menstruation is a natural and biological process, yet for so many women around the world, it is still covered in silence, shame and stigma.
Our main educators are mothers. So once we start removing the stigma right from a young age, the girls, and they learn that this is normal, they will continue that with their children, their children's children, and the stigma will disappear.
Traditionally, cycle had a meaning.
it had a very spiritual meaning.
Yes.
It had a physical meaning. It was a start of a new thing, a new moon, a new cycle. So it was so informative.
So it is not just about whether you're in pain. It is also about how am I mentally when I'm there and having my cycle.
It's usually how you're supposed to cover it instead how you're supposed to celebrate it. Me kwanza, I'm encouraging mothers, when your girl gets menstrual, go get an ice cream, celebrate it like it's a trophy. It's power for women.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back, and many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. For our next story, we cross over to the great county of Nakuru, where the head of state, President Dr. William Ruto, has been on a developmental tour of Nakuru County, and to be specific, State House Nakuru is where we are getting Wairimu Njenga, my colleague, to give us more in regards to the president's visit. Good afternoon, Wairimu, and if you can hear me, what else can you tell us in regards to this visit?
Yes, we are in Nakuru County for the launch of the last mile connectivity project that is being undertaken by the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, that is RELEC. And this project in Nakuru County will be launched by the President himself, President William Ruto. He has been touring the county of Nakuru for the last 2 days. And for the next 2 days, we'll be seeing the launch of various projects in electrification across the county of Nakuru. And of course, the county has about 11 constituencies, and each and every constituency, there will be an electrification program that will be undertaken. Now, RELEC is an organization in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and handles access to electricity in rural areas. And this project, or rather this organization, have seen since its inception about 150 billion shillings has been invested in ensuring that you and I have access to power. Remember, they use grid extensions and off-grid solutions to ensure that rural communities, not only in Nakuru County, but also across the country, have electricity in their homes. And just to give you a breakdown of the number of projects and also the amount that has been invested into the electrification program in Nakuru County, earlier on had mentioned 150 billion shillings. Since the inception of the RELEC organization, we have seen across the country access to electricity grow from 8% in 2008 to about 75% right now in the country. The grid extension through these projects that RELEC is conducting across the country, we have seen the growth of Kenyans who have been connected to power from 8 to 75%. And over time, RELEC has pre-qualified a pool of over 1,000 labor and transport contractors. Remember, RELEC works differently from other organizations. The corporation procures materials and engages contractors for labor and transport, meaning that in a span of a few years, you'll see projects being rolled out, you'll see increased efficiency, you'll see that reduced turnaround time because of the collaboration between the public and the private sector. And that is the conversation that the government has been talking about, partnership, PPPs, to ensure that most of these projects do not fall under the government, but fall under the private sector. Remember, from when you look at the pool of investment when it comes to RELEC, we see that about 85% comes from the exchequer and 15% comes from the development partners. And that's where the development partners comes in when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to electricity projects across the country and also not only in Nakuru County. So we'll be here in Nakuru County from now till tomorrow, where the RELEC organization will be launching Nakuru County Last Mile Connectivity Project. Remember, they're not doing this alone. They're doing this also with Kenya Power. They're doing this also with the county government of Nakuru. They're doing this also with development partners such as the World Bank and also other organizations that have partnered with the government of Kenya to ensure that we have power and you and I can be able to access power in our homes. But focus on the last mile connectivity investment in Nakuru County. Kenya Power and RELEC have together invested about 2.48 billion shillings. This is in collaboration with development partners such as AFD, the European Union, the AIB, and these are some of the partners that I was talking about. And also this partnership we are seeing under the matching fund facility. This is a new program that was introduced by REA in 2009 and 2010 financial year, where it was designed to supplement exchequer funding. Remember, we are talking more of PPPs. So this organization, this matching fund program comes in ensuring that under this arrangement, RELEC contributes up to a maximum of 5 million shillings per constituency. And this is matched shilling to shilling with stakeholders contributing the same amount. So these are some of the programs and matching fund facility that the government keeps on talking about, so that we ensure that we are all connected and to ensure that we transition to 100% clean energy by the year 2030. And Vision 2030 is just nearby. We're in 2025. We are almost going to, we are almost nearing the Vision 2030. So the goal is to ensure that everyone transitions to clean energy meaning geothermal, meaning solar, meaning wind, and ensuring that our grid has more of clean energy and less of fossil fuels. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Njenga, for that report. Remember, the president is in a developmental tour of the great county of Nakuru, or Nakuru city, if you may, and of course 2.4 billion shillings by RELEC and other partners, the private-public partnerships that will ensure that there is light for everyone in the 11 constituencies in Nakuru. And of course, we'll be keeping up with Njenga to give us just more in regards to that. The president is supposed to commission that project today. And other than that, he's still in Nakuru for the next 2 days. Early on in the morning, he was having meetings at State House in Nakuru. More of that a little bit later. Moving on, the Capital Markets Authority is reviewing the Real Estate Investment Trust, collective investment schemes, regulations, and the foreign investors regulations as part of a broader effort to modernize Kenya's financial architecture. CMA says the goal is to align domestic markets with international standards, boost transparency, and attract a more diverse pool of investors.
According to the Capital Market Authority, the reforms once implemented will make small and medium-sized enterprises the centerpiece of its next phase of market development. The regulator's latest capital market reports outline sweeping reforms aimed at opening up the country's capital market to a wider pool of local businesses while strengthening transparency and investor confidence. CMA Chief Executive Officer Wycliffe Shamir says a regulatory redesign will open the door for SMEs to list by introducing after 12 months of public issuance, while the new SME fixed income securities market segment allows smaller issuers to raise 400 million shillings in bond markets. The Market Soundness Report released by the CMA says the initiative offers a viable alternative for businesses that have traditionally relied on expensive bank loans and short-term financing. CMA's Acting Director for Policy and Market Development, Samuel Njue, notes that the authority's focus is on creating an enabling environment that nurtures innovation and financial resilience.
Elsewhere, Kenya and Israel have teamed to address the rising cybersecurity threat in Kenya. The two countries will collaborate on research and early warning systems to forestall cyber threats. Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, William Kabogo, says the partnership will focus on technology transfer, allowing Kenyan engineers to co-develop and deploy Israel-grade defense tools in national projects such as Konza Technopolis.
And Israel is one of the leading countries in the world. Actually, I would say the country that pioneered cybersecurity is really ready to work hand in hand with Kenya in that. And actually, the cooperation between Israel and Kenya in cybersecurity is a long-standing one, with memorandum of understandings, with cooperation on with the private sector, with the academia, and between the governments. And we are standing with Kenya in that regard. I think that one of the biggest challenges or biggest opportunity that stands before Kenya is to become the cyber center of Eastern Africa, or maybe of Africa as a whole. And if you look at the Israeli model, how Israel has positioned itself as a major cybersecurity center in the world, Kenya can do that as well.
Kenya is banking on improved governance to strengthen debt sustainability, improve economic performance and debt management. Director General of the Public Debt Management Office at the Treasury, Raphael Owino, says equipping leaders from key institutions with the right training and technical skills are crucial for enhancing accountability and effective management of public resources. He was speaking during the graduation of the first cohort and launch of the second phase of the Africa Capacity Building Foundation's Leadership, Entrepreneurship and Accountability for Development LEAPS program.
Has been driving transformation in a number of countries, and this has been proven globally, is leadership. And therefore, to have a program that will address the leadership gaps that we are having in our public sector institutions, to me, is very critical.
In other news, the Kenya Ports Authority plans to construct a modern cruise ship terminal at the Lamu and Shimoni seaports to tap the growing cruise tourism business in the region. The two seaports are fast becoming a cruise ship favorite, receiving hundreds of tourism this year. This week, MVSH Diana docked in Lamu, arriving at the island following a historic stop at Shimoni Port in Kwale with 120 passengers aboard and 129 crew members.
Lamu Port, which was opened in 2021, is fast growing in profile and in business, outpacing Mombasa, which has always been the country's premier seaport. However, lack of a dedicated cruise terminal is holding back the growth of the cruise business in the region. Yesterday, the port came to life with the docking of the MVSH Diana, which made a third call to the Lamu archipelago, bringing 120 tourists to the UNESCO heritage site.
Kama washikadau wetu wa biashara, tuna furaha kubwa kwamba tumetembelewa na wageni kutoka bara la ulimwengu kuthibitisha kwamba Lamu ni amani.
MVSH Diana was greeted by a thrilled community, with the tourists joining in for traditional Bajun jig with the locals. The tourists toured the UNESCO-listed Lamu Old Town, exploring Swahili architecture, historic mosque and Shela Beach, highlighting the island's growing appeal as a global cruise destination.
You have a beautiful, beautiful town. The entrance is absolutely colorful, and we love the heritage. We love that you, one of the oldest Swahili settlement back in 1370, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very beautiful.
Ukuzaji wa tourism unaanza kupika hapa na unazidi kuendelea kwa sababu hino meli sasa imekuwa ni schedule, Lamu ni schedule port yake.
Lamu County Governor Issa Timami hosted a welcoming ceremony for tourists, commending the ship's management for once again including Lamu in their cruise tour itinerary. Timami described the visit as a positive sign of the region's growing appeal in the global tourist market, further appealing to the cruise operators to consider adding more stopovers in Lamu in the future.
Hii ni natija ya Lamu na tunafurahia kuwa na wageni. Ninafurahia kwa wafanyaji biashara wangu wenye mahoteli watafaidika kutokana na ziara hii.
Launched in 2023 at the Helsinki shipyard in Finland, the MVSH Diana is 125 meters long, standing as one of the largest and most advanced in Swan Hellinix fleet. It boasts a capacity of up to 220 guests and features world-class amenities.
Further afield, Amazon is planning major job cuts among its corporate workers as soon as this week. Multiple media outlets have reported the online retail giant plans to lay off as many as 30,000 employees as part of cost-cutting measures led by Chief Executive Andy Jassy. The layoffs could be one of the largest seen in recent months. It would be Amazon's biggest cut since 2022, when the company let go of around 27,000 workers over several months. More details next in our International Business Roundup.
The number of potential layoffs would be around 10% of the company's corporate headcount, but still a small fraction of Amazon's total workforce, which has more than 1.5 million employees across its warehouse and offices worldwide. The company has around 350,000 corporate workers, which include those in executive, managerial, and sales roles, according to figures that Amazon submitted to the U.S. government last year. Like many technology firms, Amazon hired aggressively during the COVID-19 pandemic to meet the surge in demand for online deliveries and digital services. Amazon boss Andy Jassy has since focused on reducing spending as the company invests heavily in artificial intelligence AI tools to boost efficiency. Elsewhere, China's central bank will continue to work with law enforcement authorities to crack down on domestic virtual currency trading and speculation. Ban Gongshen, governor of the People's Bank of China, said at the annual conference of Financial Street Forum 2025 on Monday. Pan said that although stablecoins issued by the market institution have continued to emerge in recent years, the sector remains in its early stage of development. As a financial activity, the stablecoins for now still cannot meet some basic requirements such as customer identity verification and anti-money laundering, which has instead amplified loopholes in global financial regulations like money laundering, illegal cross-border funds transfers, and terrorism financing. Finally, Canada's Ford has stood firm behind its decision to run an anti-tariff advertisement in the U.S. that featured Ronald Reagan and angered Donald Trump, saying, "We have achieved our goal." Ford added that the TV spot had 1 billion views and has garnered attention from as far as the UK and India. His comments on Monday came after President Trump suspended trade talks with Canada over their advert and said that he would hike tariffs on Canada by 10% over and above current levies. Both Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney are in Asia this week for the Asian Summit, but Trump told reporters he had no plans to meet with Carney and won't be meeting with him for a long time.
Nairobi United football team arrived in the country this morning from Tunisia after qualifying for the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. The group stage draw is scheduled to take place in Johannesburg, South Africa on the 3rd of this month. 3rd of next month, I beg your pardon.
The team returned home early today to a hero's welcome at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja and club officials received them. Nairobi United made history in Tunisia after defeating Etoile Sportive du Sahel of Tunisia through penalty shootouts following a 2-2 aggregate draw over the two-legged encounter, both home and away.
Statement ilikuwa ishafanyika kitambo. Mliona game ya Gor finali na ndio bado inaendelea, kwa hivyo si hatuko hapa kupeana statement, tuko hapa kufanya kazi yetu yenye tumeajiriwa na His Excellency and tutaendelea mbele pia kufanya kazi.
Next stage I think already I think sasa ni no pressure. Tunataka kucheza bila pressure na muhimu vijana wanajua tunataka kuwakilisha wa Kenya, na hiyo sasa hizi tunapepa flag na tuna make sure tutaweka mali nafaa.
The team qualified for the continental competition after winning the Mozart Cup earlier this year, a victory that kept off a remarkable season in which they were also promoted to the Kenyan Premier League.
The main thing is to keep our heads straight. Isingie kwa kichwa bado. Umefanya umesema no pressure, but let us remain humble as always. Let us remain focused. Let us remain, with that spirit and continue being brothers to each other.
After qualifying for the group stage, the team is expected to receive a substantial cash prize amounting to 51 million Kenya shillings.
Shukuru technical bench kwa kunitrust na kunipatia opportunity ya kushowcase whatever naweza fanya. Kule Toel kuna vitu mingi expect kupata hizo kelele kila kitu, lakini tulikuwa na courage na confidence ya kuface hizo vitu zote na to emerge victorious.
Nairobi United now carries the nation's hopes as the sole representative in the continental competitions this season. The group stage draw is scheduled to take place in Johannesburg, South Africa on the 3rd of next month.
Congratulations to our boys, and now to our girls. The national women's football team, Harambee Starlets, will face Gambia this evening in the second leg final round of the 2026 Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The team carries a massive morale boost into their decisive clash after registering a 3-1 victory in the first leg at Nyayo National Stadium last Friday. Head coach Beldine Odemba says the players are highly motivated and ready to post good results this evening. The return leg will be played at Stade Lat Dior in Thiès, Senegal, as the Gambia currently lacks a FIFA-approved stadium. Starlets need a draw of any kind to book a place in the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in 7 years. The 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations will be hosted in Morocco from March the 17th to April the 3rd next year.
In our country, it will be good if we can qualify for this WAFCON after 9 long years. It will show how much improvement we've made as women football in the country, and it will also open a brighter future for women football.
All the best to our girls. They are doing Kenya proud. And allow me, before I leave you, to just read this press statement by Mombasa Air Safari, which says, and I read, Mombasa Air Safari Limited clearly and deeply regrets to confirm that one of our aircraft, registration number FY-CCA, was involved in an accident today, operating a scheduled flight from Diani Airport to Kichwatembo in Masai Mara. We are profoundly saddened to report that, according to preliminary investigation and information, there were 10 passengers, being 8 Hungarians and 2 Germans and 1 Kenyan crew member, the captain on board. Sadly, there are no survivors. Our hearts and prayers are with all those affected by these tragic events. We have activated our emergency response team and are fully cooperating with the relevant authorities who have begun their investigations. We will provide further updates as more information becomes available and in coordination with the investigations authority. I was just reading a statement by the Mombasa Air Safari, just confirming the incident and confirming as well no survivors. Many thanks indeed for joining us. We'll be keeping tabs with what is happening in regards to that crash. But you can check out our social media spaces, including Twitter and the former Twitter X, and also our KBC Digital app for this and more, and also our YouTube channel. My name is Njue. Lucy has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Many thanks indeed for joining us, and have yourself a lovely afternoon.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. Next, connect the aerial to your TV. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow